Hey everybody, Mike Hansen back with another Bite Size Tech Plus for Vintage Viewers video. So you're thinking about getting into film photography, or you're thinking about going back to film photography. Today I've got 5 cons and 5 pros about getting into film photography. Let's start with con number 5. You are going to find that you are relatively limited in the choices of media that you have, and that is the film stocks that are available to you. The format of film that is most available is 35 millimeter. So I would really recommend that you go that direction if you're going to get back into film photography. There's still a fairly wide variety of film stocks available for 35 millimeter, from black and white to color, and all different speeds of that. So be careful with that when you pick a camera. 35 millimeter is what I recommend. On the pro number 5, the equipment is relatively inexpensive, and there are a lot of sources where you can buy used equipment, classic cameras. There are also some cameras that are available that are new. Kodak has a line of half-frame cameras that, while they're very limited in their features, they are something to start with, and they're relatively inexpensive. Most of them are under $100 to get started. So that may be something that you want to look into. The other choices that you have would be things like Facebook Marketplace, eBay, or even Amazon. I recently bought a Canon Rebel G, which is a cool little camera. It has autofocus on it. It comes from about the early 90s, and great camera. It has auto film advance. It has a whole bunch of features on it, and it came with an 80-120 zoom lens, and it was a Canon lens, and I bought that for about $125, and that camera has performed flawlessly as I bought it off of Amazon. Now, when you get into eBay and you get into Facebook Marketplace, you may or may not have an opportunity to return that camera if it doesn't work properly. Another thing about the equipment that you'll want to do before you make a choice for a camera, regardless of where you buy it, is you're going to want to look into that camera specific model, and you're going to want to know the features of that camera so that when you receive it, you can go through all those features and make sure everything is working. But it's a fairly low bar to get into film photography. There are AE1 programs and A1s, which were top of the line Canon cameras back in the 1980s, that are going anywhere from about $80 up to $200. And you just need to buyer beware on those kind of things. Con number 4. You have a lot of opportunities to fail on film. It's not like digital where you can take a picture and you can go, oh, that's a little bright. Oh, that's a little underexposed, and fix it right then. You're going to rely on your senses to be able to set up the camera properly to be able to get the shots that you want. And it's just going to take trial and error. Pro number 4 is the very tactile experience of just loading and unloading the film. You don't have that with a digital camera because you're sticking a little card in the slot, and film, there's just something about it. And the first time that you load that film and you pop that little canister open, you're going to notice a scent, and that is a film scent. Nothing else smells like that. So after you go for your first time and you wind it up on the spool and you get things going in the camera, you're like, yeah, I did that properly. It's going to maybe take a little trial and error to get that going, but you'll get it. Con number 3, a lack of local processors. Before you get into film photography, you're going to want to check and see what kind of variety of processors or availability of processors you may have locally, because it's always good to be able to go into a location, a physical location, drop off your film, and go back and get it later. Now, I have a wonderful camera store in the Sacramento area called Mike's Cameras. I take my film in and I tell them I want negatives and I want digital images as well. And within 24 hours, I have those digital images, and I go down and I pick up my negatives. Now, why do I do that? Because I like the touchy-feely sense of the negatives, and I can pop them in my scanner and do any DPI that I want. The digital images from the processor may not always meet the high standards that you're going for, so you'll want to double check that. Now, a lot of mass media processors like Walmart, like CVS, like Walgreens, you won't get your negatives back. They will destroy your negatives after they process the film, and they'll send you some digital files. But you have no guarantee on the DPI or resolution or the color correction or anything else on those digital scans. So you'll want to be careful with that. They are usually the least expensive, but a local processor is what I would recommend if you can find one. Now, our pro number 3 is film gives you the opportunity to be a better photographer. Because look at it this way, most rolls of film, you're only going to have 36 exposures at the max. It's not unlimited like a digital camera. So you're going to be careful about how you set up your exposure. You're going to be careful about focus. You're going to be careful about all the stuff. You're going to be most careful about your composition in the camera, because film, even if you get the digital scans of it, is less manipulable. Manipulable, is that a word? I don't know. It's less malleable when you go to fix a digital image from a film camera. So you're also going to be looking at being very judicious with those 36 exposures. And, you know, again, trial and error is going to be your friend, but take your time. Digital, you can snap these things off all day long, but with a film camera, you gotta think about it, and that's gonna make you a better photographer. Number 2, con. There are limits on the number of shots you can take. I just mentioned that in the Pro that we had just before this one. You have a limited number of shots. You don't have unlimited numbers of shots like you do with digital. So you're gonna have to pay attention to when you run out of film, because there's nothing worse than having film in your camera, shooting the shots, finally feeling like you composed it just right, and then I can't advance it anymore, I'm out of film. And by the time you load that film, the next reel, you've lost the shot. So that's something to pay attention to. Number 2, pro. The indescribable, intangible beauty of an image created on film. I can't even describe it to you. I've used the word dreamlike, I've used the word artsy. They're all different kind of things, but you know, film is just different than digital. And one of the things about film is, depending on the stock that you're using, you're going to get a different tonal quality to that. For example, back in the day, I used to shoot a lot of Kodachrome slide film and a lot of Ektachrome slide film. And what I knew about Ektachrome is I was going to get a lot of cooler colors. So if I wanted that super blue sky and those super green plants and trees, I would use the Ektachrome. If I wanted warmer colors, if I wanted to shoot people, I would shoot with the Kodachrome, because I was guaranteed warmer colors. And that, I can't even tell you what that feels like. So I used to shoot years and years ago on Kodak Gold, and they still do have some Kodak Gold out there. And as far as print film goes, that's always my favorite. And way back in the day, I used to always use Gold 100 ASA film. And what that allowed for was the finest grain. It did get grainy if I got into darker situations, but it was great in the sunshine, and it was great outside for all of the landscape work and outdoor portraiture and those kind of things. It's difficult for me to convey to you the magic of the beauty of film when you get those first rolls developed. Number 1, con. It's expensive. It's not like digital where you have a little card in the camera and you can take 1,000 shots on that one card. You have 36 images in one roll of film. Now, the cheapest I've been able to find, which is Processing only is processing only to a negative about $8 or $9 with my local processor. Film, that can be 15, 20 bucks for a roll of 36. So you're already out the gate. You don't even know how those photos are going to come out. You're out the gate with, what is that? $15, $20 plus 8. So it's, $28, $20, somewhere in that bracket. It gets expensive fast. So be prepared for that. Number one, Pro. And this is the most important one to me. And I cannot even describe what it's all about. And you know what I call it? I call it the Christmas morning effect. When I was a much younger man and I was shooting film, when I would drop my film off at Kmart, which was the easiest and cheapest place that I could get my film developed, and it would take about a week for that film to come back, I was excited to see what I got. So when I knew my film was due to come in, I would head on down to Kmart. I would rifle through the little drawer with the packages so I could take it up to the checkout stand. It was all the restraint that I could do to get it from the drawer in the photo department up to the checkout stand before I opened it and looked at the prints. Now, just like when you were a kid with Christmas, you remember there were some Christmases where you were a little disappointed. That's going to happen to you as well. But as you learn to use your camera better and better and better, you're going to look at those pictures and it is going to be like opening that favorite present on Christmas morning as a kid. I can't even describe that feeling. And for me, that's the one. Getting into film photography, it's a big thing, but there are a lot of rewards. There are a lot of possibilities for failure. There are a lot of things you need to watch out for, but I do guarantee you that if you start getting into film, you will become a better photographer. Thanks for watching my video today. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and any comments are welcome down below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.